here is one of the questions that you guys had when I pulled this up or looked on the board here. One of the things that you guys were asking about the fee waiver status and how that works and how people get funded. We have Mary in our team. That's the thing that sucks about a small class. Okay. All right. So, as far as the community college system is concerned, the way money comes down is at the end of the year, the community college or the governor does a budget from a state budget. He or she decides how much money they want to give the community college system. The community college system gets that money, and then they take that money and they disseminate it. So the president of the community college system and whomever else is involved in that decision-making process takes that $4 billion, I'm throwing a number, I have no clue, but they take that $4 billion and then they say, all right, each one of these community colleges gets this much money. Most of that is based off of the amount of FTE that they generate. Okay? So that money is sent down, trickles down. What's that? FTE means full-time equivalent, and that FTE equals dollars. That's the best way to... FTE is dollars. The way that the community college system receives money is it trickles down to the college. Each college president gets the money from the state, and then that college president decides, all right, I want this program to have this much money, I want this program to have that much money, and all those things. So that's how the money comes down from the state. Now, FTE equals dollars. Full-time equivalent, there is a formula that you can get from the community college system. You can go to, all you got to do is Google NC Community College FTE formula, and you'll pull it up. You just have to make sure it's the most recent one. It is the equivalent of somewhere around $4 to $5 or $6 per student per hour. Okay? You with me with that? So for easy numbers, we'll say $5 per student per hour. So if it's a 3-hour class and there is one student in that class, the college will get $15 for that particular class because that one student was there. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, what they count as being there is different. Are you recording? Okay. What they count as being present differs from an online class and a traditional class. Okay? So if you walk through the doors of a traditional class and they take roll, then you're considered present. Now, you have to be there at the 10% point, and the 10% point will be defined. That is an important number for you if you ever take on a leadership role in some type of class. The students have to make it to the 10% point, and then you are able to collect the FTE. So if a student gets in, enters class, comes to class, but never makes it to that 10% point, you don't count that student as being there. So that's how the community college system makes money, or your agency makes money. Once a student comes in, they make the 10% point, then that is reported back to the community college system. They look at the FTE formula, they figure it up, and then they report the money back. So if there are 10 students in a class, it's a 3-hour class, and it's $5 per student. So do the math. 10 students times $5 is $50 times 3 hours. So that's how much? $150. Okay. That's what the community college system, or that's what your community college will receive from the state system, if $5 was the magic number. Now, the formula is actually a little more complex than that because it's based off of hours, and so it's actually a little more complex, but that's kind of how it boils down. On simple terms, it's like anywhere from, it depends on the formula and all that stuff, anywhere from $3 to $5 per student per hour. Okay. Now, let's talk about fee waivers. Fee waivers is a big issue because in the community college system, folks that are fire rescue that have EMS, law enforcement, that are taking classes that are directly relevant to their profession. They have been through the state, and I'm pretty sure legislature said those folks shouldn't have to pay for classes because they're like public servants. Military, those folks, military folks whose home base station is here in North Carolina. Now that may have changed, so I may need to check that. They may allow people that are maybe not home station here, but that are coming in the military. They may have opened that up a little bit more, but it was, though, if their home station is here in North Carolina, then they can take classes that I'm not sure how their fee waiver fits, but for fire rescue EMS, those fee waivers are, your course has to be a course that's relevant to your profession, that you have to, there's a whole list of topics, okay, for you to be fee waived. Now, they have gotten to the point where they found over the years that people were just saying, oh yeah, I'm with XYZ Fire Department, and nobody was checking behind them. So somebody may have been with them at some point and are no longer. We just run into that not that long ago, where somebody said they were with XYZ EMS agency. Well, now the colleges are asking for letters of affiliation, so they have to have a letter of affiliation from their agency to prove their fee waiver status. So if you are fee waived, then you take that class for quote unquote free. It is not free. It is free to you. It is free to those people that are fee waived. Somebody pays for that, and that's why this conversation is coming up. Somebody said, I know somebody's paying for it. I just need to know, I want to know how that happens. Right? So what's happening is the legislature, the state has said, we don't want those people to pay for classes. So now when those fee waived folks, that same exact $150 class that we just said, you run a class, it had those people in it, it costs $150, or it will make $150 out of FTE that is going to trickle down from the community college system. That money now comes out of the community college system budget, but there was never, ever any revenue put in because all of those folks were fee waived. They didn't put enrollment fees, registration fees, any of those fees in because all of those fees were waived. That's where the issue becomes when you start seeing people saying, oh, we're trimming back the fee waiver status and we're potentially getting rid of the fee waiver status. Because it literally is digging $1 million hole every single year where people are taking class after class after class after class, especially since online classes came around. Because when these online classes came around, now people are signing up for tons of classes, and they're taking all these different classes, and they're fee waived, and the community college system is still paying for those people to take those classes. Some are taking the classes, some are getting in, doing what they need to do to get to the 10% point, and then forgetting about it, not finishing the class. So that's where a big issue is coming, is all of those, that money is still being paid down from the community college system. So some community colleges that are running tons and tons and tons of online programs are generating lots and lots and lots of revenue for the college, but it's digging a huge hole in the community college system, the state budget, because they are never, ever realizing any money coming in to run those classes. Make sense? Okay. Okay, so if we run the exact same class we just talked about that had 10 students, now all of those 10 students are not fee waived. They have to pay for the class. Then they have to pay a set fee that the community college system sets. Every community college has the exact same fees for their schools, whether it's continuing education, whether it's a curriculum. Now they may add some different, student fees or things like that, but the fees are set. They're somewhere around $75 for up to like 10 hours. Over 10 hours, it's a little over $100, and I think the most is somewhere around $150. Okay, so this is a 10-hour class, so we're going to say it's a $75 class. So each person pays $75. So the college system will recoup $750 of revenue from those 10 students that goes into the system. Now the college does not keep the revenue from enrollment. That money is reverted back up to the community college system, who then banks it, does whatever they do with it, and then next year they will take the $150 that was generated of FTE and give it back to the community college. Does that make sense? So any money that comes into the community college, like we're currently teaching out of Gaston College. Gaston College is in the community college system. Money that comes into Gaston College is reverted back to the state community college system. They give it all back. Now there's some other areas that they keep their own money, but for the most part, anything that's state run is going to go back to the state system. The system office, at the end of the year, the budget year, when the budgets come down, they will look at the FTE that Gaston College created and give that FTE amount to Gaston College, along with all their other operating funds and whatever else they do. So each community college is an agent of the state system, of the community college system. So the business, if you look at it from a business model, the business itself is a community college system. Each agency is just an off-site area that works for the community college system. So all that money is reverted back. Sorry, let me finish this. You are exactly right. So his statement. Let him say that again.
For fee waiver status, it's I'm taking
Define who the I is.
the student, the firemen, the personnel, the police. They're not paying anything for these classes.
That's exactly right. So you just figured out why the annually we run into the fee waive. It's almost an annual discussion where things happen and they try to work with the fee waivers. And it's not that the folks that are making these decisions, it's not that they want to get rid of everybody and stop treating firefighters, EMS, all those folks the way they are. The problem is what you just defined. They are generating tons and tons of revenue for each one of these individual colleges, but nobody is paying for it. There's not money that is being realized from them, from their agencies. One of the most common things that I hear people say all the time is, oh, well, the class is free for me, my fire department paid for it. No, your fire department didn't pay for it. The state paid for it. Nobody pays for it except for us, the taxpayers, pay for it from the community college system out of the state budget. There is no money coming in. Robert.
What the college makes is that factors and increases their FTEs in the next legislation, the next fiscal year, their FTE higher. And I'm trying to understand, like, they paid $750 for a class, and if the class costs $150 FTE, $600. The college paid $604, then it's sent back to the state to get $150 FTE. So
yes.
That's what I'm saying. The more they do that, maybe next year they'll get $200.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I see.
So then why are we going broke because of the $600 deficit that you're sending back to the state?
Because there's not.
That's what I'm trying to know.
Okay.
But you said they send them $150, but you sent the state $750.
Yes.
$600
Yes.
there.
All right. But understand that we're not talking about a fee waiver course.
Right.
We're talking about a course that everybody in the class pays for the class.
Yeah, that's $750.
Exactly. That's $750 that goes to the community college system.
Right.
Okay.
You said they send, say
Then
it was $5 a student, then the college was given $150 for a class.
based on the FTE formula that they used, they generated 0.06312, whatever it is, FTE, which is the equivalent of $150. So they take 150 of the 750 they collected and give it back to the community college. The individual community college that generated that FTE. So the community college system then has that $750 to disperse however it needs to disperse.
So they're getting the $150 in FTE, but that other $600 goes to the general pot.
Yes.
Spread out from other operating budgets.
And offset all of the fee waiver courses and it. So,
people who pay for education pay for a lot less education.
yeah.
I mean, you figure like me, I may take 5 classes this year.
Yeah, I mean, there is a budgeting, personal budgeting, student budgeting side of things. But I don't know, as far as who pays and all that stuff. But you're exactly right. People, the issue that we run into in North Carolina, especially as a small business, that, uses, teaches those fee waived folks. For me to ask a student to pay $50 to take a 24-hour class, like, I'm not paying for that. I took my entire paramedic and never paid $1 for it. That's what we run into. But then you go across the state border, and these people are paying $1,500, $2,500 for classes in, paramedic or whatever. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. My dad has 16 classes on. And it's kind of off the and 24 hours is 5 years or so. And to be about pushing it down, it's contract away. That's the main result for life.
And that happens everywhere. And then people, and that's the issue. People here in North Carolina don't get how well taken care of they are. And then even I am not kidding. I have seen classes not made because it was a class that was run through an agency. We don't do it. I know, I get it. I know I want to, if my company wants to run courses through the community college, I'm going to have to do it at a fee that's going to work. So we teach our classes for the same fee that you would pay any instructor to teach. That's not what I want, but that's what I have to do in order to work. Because there are some really good courses. Bob Page, for example. Bob Page, I about guarantee you will not come here and teach for what a normal fee would be. He charges above and beyond, which means the college has to get somebody to supplement that. Now, sometimes that's passed on to the students, which is why a lot of Bob Page's classes sometimes cost, $25 or $30, which is still way less than what you normally pay, because the community college system is offsetting that. But still, those people have to pay $25 or $30. I've seen classes with not necessarily Bob Page, because he's such a big speaker, and everybody's like, I want to take it. But I've seen other classes that were phenomenal classes, just nobody really knew. Like the class never made because nobody wanted to pay $10 a person to take the class. But whoever the instructor was for the class wasn't going to travel down for $25 an hour. They wasn't going to do it. I have a question up here, and I'll get to you.
So, one thing I think we may want to do is so when our agency offers a candid and it's through college, it's the same thing. It's a fee waiver.
It is the exact same thing. And that's why your agencies are setting up online classes. They're setting up classes all the time. They choose to do it through the community college because it doesn't cost me as an agency. I'm a training officer. Let's say I'm a training officer for XYZ Fire Department or XYZ EMS. XYZ EMS has 100 people in the system. Okay? They make an average of $15 an hour. So every single hour that student is in class, I have to pay $150. Is that right? 100 person, $1,500. Every hour that my service is in a class, if I pay them their regular hourly rate, $15 an hour, I'm paying $1,500. So that's $4,500. Right? If everybody's required and everybody shows up and they all get paid, and it's the numbers that I just give you, that is $4,500 I have to pay as a service to those people to attend the class. Now, I also have to call and book the instructor and pay the instructor another $20, $25 per hour to run the class. So that's why these people are like, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll call the community college, we'll get them to set the class up for us and do it on flip-flop days so we can rotate trucks in. So when you do it flip-flop days, the community college system pays somebody 3 different days to come in and teach. In the meantime, these folks are being rotated in on their days off, so I don't have to pay any additional above and beyond because they're doing it while they're on shift. So, and they're getting it all for free from the community college system.
We do ours through the community college fund. We have to go on off.
And in that case, that your EMS system is not paying anything for the education, but if they are paying you and they require you to, then they're still paying you guys. So, yes, back here with Sam. Okay.
Third party, like, using in-house stuff. I mean, you know how would you think?
Well, to be honest with you,
the community college system, they're not involved in that, so they're not paying out anything. That's just an in-house deal.
they're doing it in-house. The I don't know if you mentioned the service or not, but I can cut that if necessary. What's happening? What you see happening a lot of times with your EMS services is there is the EMS service is so used to being spoon-fed by the community college system that if when budgets get tight at the community college system, that money is coming. I told you where it came from and what's going on with that. That money is trickling down, and when that money gets there, if the budget's not what it needs to be, they start tightening budgets. So what do? XYZ Fire Department EMS Service says, hey, I need you to run this class for me, and I want you to run it on these particular days. And they're like, I can't really do it, but I can do it this way. Or, well, I need you to do, and in order for the FTE to be generated and all that stuff, there are system auditors, I think they may have changed their name recently, that'll come and check to make sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, all those things. I told you that about, putting your class has to go the entire length of time and every bit of that. That's why it has to go the entire length of time. Because somebody is paying $5 per hour for every person in this room. And if I let you go 3 hours early, then I am stealing from the community college system if I don't break that stuff down and go to the coordinator and say, hey, I did everything I could, but we got it to this time frame. That was the best I could do. Because then that coordinator should go into the system, change the hours to say, okay, they didn't meet from 9 to 4. They only met from 9 to 2. And everything's cool on that. So if those auditors come in and identify those issues, then the system has to report that stuff back. But in order to do that, they're also checking to make sure that they've got all this paperwork in place, the registrations are done. There's this entire book of stuff that they have to check against. What's happening is the community colleges and the EMS systems are starting to butt heads because the EMS system doesn't necessarily want to do all these little red hoops that the community college system is required to do because they've got people breathing down their necks looking to see if they can do it, or looking to see that they're doing everything that's supposed to be done. So what happens a lot of times is the EMS system goes, you know what, screw you, I don't need you. You know, I'm tired of having to have my people fill out paperwork every month and fill out all this other stuff and do all these things and jump through all these hoops. So I'll bring the education in-house. Because unfortunately, for the community college system, EMS does not necessarily need the community college system to do their continuing education. They can set up their own teaching institutions, which many of them have done, and they bring it all in-house. And when you do that, the community college doesn't collect FTE, but on top of that, this EMS service doesn't have to jump through all those little hoops. So then it becomes a quality kind of issue and, you know, those kind of things.
Yes, I'm just teaching in county, but in reality, on the Gaston College instructor, teaching a course on site at Lincoln County EMS services, though, like Lincoln County, as an example, or whichever county, XYZ county, would be, we're the teaching institution, and I'm an FPO for that service, and an instructor for that service, and that service is a standalone
Teaching institution is correct. And it has absolutely nothing to do with Gaston College.
Exactly. And I guess they would have to meet the same accreditation requirements and course standard requirements to have that as an account.
As far, yes. As far as the accreditation requirements and stuff, that is through the North Carolina Office of EMS, not the North Carolina Community College system. And that's where, you know, that's that loophole that so many people are using. To become a teaching institution, all that stuff is in where your educational application is. All that stuff is there. You can see what it takes to become a teaching institution. Anybody can do it if you meet those criteria and all that stuff. So you're not necessarily a community college. Most of the community colleges are teaching institutions, but it's not all teaching institutions. So, or not just community colleges are teaching institutions. The EMS agencies have become their own teaching institutions so that they can re-credential their folks without having to jump through the hoops of the community college system, especially re-credentialing, because if you look at some of these systems that may have 200 or 300 people that need to be re-credentialed, the community college system generally, or the community college itself, a lot of times only has one people who is responsible for that. So, you know, it can become, you can run into issues. Sometimes there's personality conflicts between the EMS system and the coordinator for the community college, and if somebody doesn't intervene and mitigate that, then the EMS system goes, you know what, fine, and they pull it all back. With the invent and the advent of the online programs, you know, a lot of those folks now can go, you know what, I'm going over to this community college. We're going to run everything online through them because they do it. We don't have as many hoops to jump through, or more specifically, they should have roughly the same hoops to jump through, but what they run into is that personality conflict. So sometimes you run into those. Any other questions? So that's ultimately where your fee waivers and how all that stuff works. I see you dancing around here. Roll. Use the roller on the mouse to zoom out. Use the roller on the mouse to zoom in. So let's say, what was you guys' topic back here? Basic first aid, and zoom, just click on it. And give me one of the topics. Okay. Who did the mine? That was you, right? Okay. Look familiar? Okay. Give me another one. frame it, just so I have an idea once I kind of. And the other thing is, you know, say, all right, there it is, there, how many degrees here? Similar, but it's the same, except better.
I thought you said low back, and look together.
Basic first aid. Yeah, absolutely, and do it, you know, hard. I'll show you.
So you put the ideas on the canvas.
Put the idea
all
on
the
the thing,
frames.
and you frame them. And notice this is frame number 4. This is frame 2. They're ordered over here. If you want to, yes.
I like this.
Yeah, I like the ability to do the drag and drop. Yeah, drag things around.
Drag and drop.
Drag and drop.
Well, it seems like you can use Prezi to create the ideas and everything like your mind fill that.
Absolutely.
And then you make your presentation off the idea that you got to set it up double or be formatted and outlined. It's all the same thing.
That's exactly right. So now, I'm going to want to present it. Here's where we start. So we've got basic first aid, babysitters. One of the things we're going to do is assemble a first aid kit. Talk about common injury treatment, treat for fracture. Now, if I wanted to, this one comes off.
Yeah, you really did that.
We'll start here. Talk about common injury treatment, scrapes, burns, and fractures, and
I always thought when you said
wankers. So that's Prezi. You know, you get it, play with it, you figure things out, but it's got some really cool features. It's cloud-based. I think that it actually now has versions that you can download and use, like PowerPoint, so you can save your presentations, or they're called Prezis. You can save your Prezis. One of the cool things about it is it's like YouTube, where you can actually embed a Prezi so that you put it on like one of your in your online class. and have them click through it. You can put, I think you can put videos in it. You can also put images and all kinds of stuff. I just threw something together real quick. You could just give them the link to it. I mean, you could send the link to it, and I can send you the link to any of them that I created ever. Yeah. Now you can protect them and make them private if you want to.
At this address.
Yep. Kind of. I mean, it's still a president.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like right here. This looks a lot like if you've got a YouTube account and stuff. It's a lot like YouTube. You can present it remotely. You can save a copy. You can share it. You can save it. There you go. Yes. Yeah. I had a guy in our last methodology class that used Prezi, and he did a lot of movement very quickly. So, I had to bring it to his attention. I'm like, you'll make people sick with that. People will get nauseated watching it because it moves so much. Now, if you just do it every once in a while, click to see the movements and stuff, not such a big deal. But his was like click, click, click. So it almost never stopped moving. Yeah, if it's a large screen like this and you're sitting close to it, woo, I'd be blowing chunks very quickly. Right.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Like, this is one of the presents that I've used in the past. It is. Yeah. I see it really good. Close to y'all.
Yeah, try sitting up there at that table, watching the thing.
So, this is one that I've. I'm getting the right here. You can call it. Yeah. Absolutely. That's a good question. I don't know. I've not tried to get down and print out any handouts or any of that stuff. So.